All right, welcome. I am DJ Butler, senior editor of Arc Press. Welcome to the Gopherwood Lounge. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, share, and social media. Happy to have you here. Come on in out of the rain. I'm here with my fellow senior editor and friend, David F. Sharirod. And we just want to give you a little bit of an update. And this is an update, just kind of a view. What are we doing? This is an update that maybe has a kind of a 20th century pop culture historical aspect. And of course, our 20th century pop culture history expert is David. So, David, where did this come from? What's the background here?
My role as ARC 20th century historian is an unpaid volunteer job, by the way. And let me also say, folks, we'll see how this goes. Dave has been telling me my internet is laggy. Google Fiber, I'm not too happy with you. I apologize to anybody for any wonkiness with this video. Anyway, so yeah, what we are talking about is American Treasure Hunters. This is a series, if you follow us on X, we have been teasing and hinting a little bit, and this is sort of, I don't know if this is our official full-on announcement, but we did want to discuss it a little bit more in detail and give you guys an idea of what this is. So this is this is going to be an ongoing series for us. We're really excited about it. This will probably be, if not the first, then one of two, the second maybe, things that you ever see in the real world from a physical copy from us. This series we are describing it as Hardy Boys meets National Treasure for the 21st century. So we wanted to talk about what the series is and will be, and also talk about the genesis of it a little bit. And this really kind of started with Tony Daniel, our editor-in-chief, who is not here. He is sitting on the beach right now. So we're here talking about the books while he relaxes from his hard editorial tasks. But I don't know, Dave. So I said, I've got little kids. We recently watched National Treasure with them, which is a movie that I remember seeing, I think, right after high school, and man, sparked my imagination. And I'm seeing it with them. They love it. And the thing that struck me about it, watching it in 2025, is how unabashedly American it was, and how unabashedly pro-American history. Um, I mean, I guess you can't hardly be anti-history, but a very pro-American take on history, right? And a very reverent take while in the middle of this um, fun action Nicolas Cage movie. And then the other element of it is the Hardy Boys. And this is something we tried to read the first one, but I think it was a little bit above the head of my middle son, our middle child, who's a boy. So we haven't quite gotten there yet, but and I will fess up, I was not like a huge Hardy Boys fan in practice. I don't know. What about you, Dave? Did you read those as a kid growing up? I know
I
Tony
did.
Daniel certainly did.
I
Um,
did. These were in every library. There's the blue hardback books, and I don't know the name of the cover artist, but there's sort of a vaguely, the art had a kind of a pulp, somewhere in the space that involves both Norman Rockwell and like pulp covers, like this kind of a look to them. It always had these sort of teenage guys in a semi-action pose, on a motorcycle or looking through the forest at a ruined tower or whatever, right? Yeah, I'm trying to think how old I was. I was a precocious reader for sure. So I think I was in elementary school basically uh when I read these. And they're about, they were older than me. They're teenage guys. Although I think their age kind of went back and forth over the course of the series publication, as I recall, and having adventures. You know, solving crimes or rescuing people or whatever. Uh-oh, do I look like I'm
Yeah,
lagging
I
too?
mean, they're so iconic, those blue covers. No, no, no. I just thought you were weren't
Oh,
done
okay.
talking yet.
Okay.
Your brain was lagging, maybe.
This is probably right.
Yeah, I mean those iconic blue covers. What's interesting, right, is that, and people may know this, is those are revised editions. Starting in I think 59, they started going back to the original books and changing them and updating them. One thing they did was they made them older, I want to say. I think they were like 16 and 17. They made them 17 and 18, 1 year difference. But the originals were started written in the I think 27 or so, 1927, and so they updated them a little bit. They made them shorter. They put more action. They put a little less sort of mysterious, maybe not mysterious, is creepiness out of them. They changed some of the roadsters to some of the more time. The other thing they did is they made them a little more what we might now call or politically correct or woke. Ironically, what the effect that this had is that it turned everyone in the town white because they took out all the stereotypes. But what they did in the process was take out all the Italians and the Jews and the black characters, right? Because instead of trying to like parse out it wasn't offensive, they just were like, you know what, delete.
Yeah.
And we should say
Ooh,
Passage Press has recently come out with the original editions in a really cool
first three,
set,
right?
the first three, and I think they're going to do three more. Because there was another publisher that did them in like the 80s, had brought them back out, but they're hard to find because. Um, so anyway, so this Hardy Boys, and so can you, since I'm lagging a little bit, maybe why don't you tell everybody what? So we talked about the National Treasure aspect and the Hardy Boys aspect, and let's like bring it together. And what is American Treasure Hunters? Then let's
Yeah.
tell the folks at home.
Yeah, tell the folks at home. So American Treasure Hunters is a series that we are putting together. We'll have a house name as the putative author, but they'll be written by a variety of people. And in fact, sort of the heart of this update is the three of us are writing the first three, and we basically have two in the bag at this point. So unless we hit some real unexpected snags, the goal is to have the two or three books out in time to buy for Christmas. So we'd like to put out books that are hardy. But the idea is that this is a Hardy Boys for the 21st century with national treasure hunter kind of elements. So aspirationally, like for me, one of the key things here is the relationship we're looking to create with the audiences here. Okay, so one of the target audiences is parents. And aspirationally, what we want is to earn the complete trust of a parent or a grandparent that and I say earn, right? I'm not asking you to trust us now. I want you to read the first books and go, oh, okay, I get it, right? Um, that you're never going to pick up one of these books and find something that's going to shock or disturb your kid. You're never going to buy your grandkid an American Treasure Hunters novel and like surprise, it turned out to be about kinky sex or something. Not going to happen, right? Um, Want to earn the trust of teachers also, that these are books that can challenge kids in other ways, but in ways that no parent or teacher is going to object to, right? That introduce kids to this is sort of the national treasure hunter piece, some understanding of some periods of American history, or a view of certain of incidents in American history, or of characters in American history, right? So the boys are modern day, but they have a YouTube channel, a podcast called the American Treasure Hunters, and it's essentially backward looking. It's they're recovering American treasures. They're learning American history on the way. But of course, in some sense, the most important audience is the readers. That any kid who has read one of these will always say, "Man, that was a fun adventure. That was fun. That didn't feel like a history lesson, right? That's not the point. It's not trying to teach me history. It's an adventure novel. Yeah, it happened to involve Confederate gold. It happened to involve Samuel Adams and the Boston Tea Party. It happened to involve the Alamo and Davy Crockett, whatever, whatever, whatever. It was a fun adventure novel, right? That's what we're aiming for. So short, probably, and look, we have two in the bag, so we're getting some clarity. We have a series Bible in a draft. We have two manuscripts and a third well underway. So we're getting some clarity, but we're still early enough, things could change. But uh, uh, but we think these are stories about three guys. They're admirable, wholesome, unironically wholesome young men having adventures involving American history that come out of the fact that they have this American Treasure Hunters podcast, probably about something like 50,000 words, 60,000 words long on the long end. So a novel, but a shortish novel, like a middle grade or a young adult length novel. So again, we're writing the first three. I think two things will happen this year, publicly or semi-publicly. One thing is we're going to put the first two or three of these out. The second thing that's going to happen is that at some point we're going to need to recruit a stable of writers to work on these books and to write these books. And as with the Hardy Boys, which were all published under the name Franklin W. Dixon Jr., who is not a person, that's a house name, a shared name that belonged to the publishing company, right? We will have a house name, but that does not mean we're going to hide the names of the authors. So we're debating exactly how, but the authors will get, paid, but also will get credit, right? It'll be clear this one was written by so and so, right? Somehow. So yeah, so I think that's kind of the heart of it, David. What else should we tell people here?
Yeah, I think you kind of hinted at the first three novels. So the first one is Hunt for Confederate Gold. The second one, we haven't like totally. That's the title. We haven't landed on the titles, I don't think, for the other two. But
Yeah.
the second one does involve the Boston Tea Party, and the third one is related to the Alamo.
Yeah.
Me and my Dr. Pepper hat. That's the one I'm going to tackle.
Our
Texas.
tackling. Our currently
But
tackling.
um, so yeah, and I think the exciting thing from what you mentioned in there is this sort of weird. This was an idea Tony Daniel had from the writing standpoint that we want to do this, and this is how we have been running these first three as a TV writers room, and we've got a series Bible, like you would have for a TV show, and we're constantly adding to that and refining that. Um, and we have got some ideas for episodes. These will be standalone, but there is a few things that are like a larger arc. So we were kind of thinking about this as a TV series, both, and we kind of want to do seasons. Like the first 9 or 10 books will be season one, and then, um, God willing, the sales are good enough that we do season two, and or 40. I don't know. Probably. I don't know if we'll make it to season 40. It's not The Simpsons, but
It might be.
part
Never
of
say
it,
never.
it's fair enough. But the idea being when we're looking for writers to do this, and they'll have to be people we vet, obviously, and we want to work with, but it's not going to sort of be, hey, just you go write whatever you want. We want this to be very collaborative, and I think this is an idea that Tony had separate from American Treasure Hunters. But as we were talking about that, we thought, man, this is the perfect project for this. To do this like a TV writer's room, and we sit around with the authors and with each other and bat ideas around and go back and forth, and then it's okay. Well, you go take DB Cooper, Joe. Write the DB Cooper book that we've talked about. So that's an exciting thing for us, I think, to look forward to on the
Yeah.
inside. And we do want to, like, as we're sharing with you here now about this, we want to kind of let the audience in on that sort of behind the scenes a little bit too. But the biggest thing is, I think, man, when I have told everybody about this project, from my father-in-law who's in his late 60s to my 10-year-old son, 10 and 7-year-old kids, everybody's eyes lights up. Everyone's like, man, this would be so great. And I think this really is a project that aligns with what we want to do here, with is like humans win in the end. It's genre fiction. It's unabashedly pro-American. It's sort of taking a very generous and how to say historical view of American history. I get, you know, the way that it has been taught previously to the current generation, put it that way.
Sure.
And also just fun adventure yarns that you know, in a way that we want them to feel very modern, and we also want them to feel like they've kind of always existed. Like our goal with this thing is this trilogy box set, or however we choose to do it, comes out, and it sort of feels like it's instantly part of the young adult canon, right? That's really the sort of the shooting the moon kind of goal we're looking for.
Yeah.
And that, you know, we hope Arc Press lives for decades, and we hope that it produces many bestsellers that enter the zeitgeist, but that this is the first step in that, and that this will be one of the things that you will go into any used bookstore 50 years from now, and there'll be shelves of American Treasure Hunters series, just like there are Hardy Boys, right? So
Yeah, 100%. Fun little I don't know, fun for me.
anyway, my connection may have been unstable, but
No, your connection was actually great as far as I could tell.
okay. Maybe it's my connection to reality is slipping. I don't know.
Yeah, you look good, Dave. So fun little bit of trivia. So I started writing. So I'm working on one which will be number 3 or number 2, don't know. And it's set in Boston, and it revolves around mysteries relating to the Boston Tea Party. And my working title as I started writing it was about 2 weeks ago was The Tea Party Treasure. And about halfway through, I just thought, that sounds like a My Little Pony episode. Like, if you don't know that it's the Boston Tea Party, the Tea Party Treasure, the Tea Party Puzzle actually doesn't sound like an adventure story for boys. So I don't know what the title will be eventually. Right now my working title is The St. John Murders. That may be too lurid. I don't know. We'll see where we end up. But yeah, fun little trivia. Maybe one of you will go on Jeopardy.
That's a tricky one, because yeah, it is. It does feel like this would be like the behind the scenes section. It does feel like you want Tea Party in there,
Right.
but then
It's the history.
doesn't have, you don't immediately. Yeah.
But all
Interesting.
by itself,
So
Tea Party doesn't. It's nothing guys usually get up to. Hey guys,
yeah,
let's have a tea party after school today.
yeah.
Right? Like, never say no. But like, that's not,
Yeah.
that's not what one usually does with one's male friends.
Yeah, sure. Well, anyways, yeah, we will like Dave said, there's a couple of basically in the bag. I'm working on the third one. We're gonna have to massage it so that it's got they've got sort of the same feel. But our goal is that, you know, you can give this to people or to yourself for Christmas. And so we'll be teasing it more and talking about it more, and hopefully have some artwork for it coming out soon, soonish. Don't get too excited. It's still only May. But I think this is going to be something that people are going to really like. So
yeah, fantastic, awesome. David, thank you. And for those of you who've been listening on YouTube or X, thank you also. This has been Gopherwood Lounge. Remember, the humans win in the end.